like to begin my readings with reading some work by other poets, especially young poets. This is from Everything I Need to Know I Learned from a Little Golden Book. Be a hugger. Kiss. Turn off the TV from time to time and crack open a book. Do no harm. Harvest. Give thanks. Believe in Santa Claus. Love at first sight. And that your ship will come in. As long as you do, your life is bound to be golden. And now I will read. No, you won't. This is called I Have His Name, but Not His Money. And I just found out a few minutes ago that somebody else here was born at Cooper Hospital, where I was born. Aaron, were you born there too? Yeah. There's 3 of us. Woo! Woo! I have his name, but not his money. There were 9 of us at the round table. No stewards, only big soft fields, pilot paper mates, and 1 yellow #2 Ticonderoga. Everyone's name in front of them in bold black letters. I award Shiloh best name. Thank your parents for me. My parents don't know each other, she smiles. Later, Roberto, our soft-spoken, wrist-beaded leader, mentions a rapper, Biggie Smalls, and a student who sang about Rockefeller eating the souls of children. That's who I'm named after, I told the group. They all laugh. It was like this. My parents did know each other, and I would be Robert III on the top floor of Cooper Hospital overlooking the Delaware River. My family fished for what to actually call me. There's already a Robert and a Bob, Mom said, and Graham hates the name Junior. But my father only had eyes for the bill. He charged me for a whole extra day when Mike, my mom, was only in here an hour with false labor. You gotta be Rockefeller to pay for this baby, Uncle Mitch consoles. Hey, said Aunt Bunny, let's call him
Rocky.
No. Very good. When I began to substitute teach in Camden, I wrote Mr. and then pictures of a rock, a key, a wheel, and a sun on the chalkboard, and let the kids figure out my name. Now, 40 years later, as I bike along the waterfront, sometimes I'll hear a shout out from a passing car. Hey, Mr. Rock Key Wheel Son! And when I'm really lucky, one of those old students will actually buy me a beer at the Victor Pub.
Yeah!
Well, with hot weather coming, we need to keep cool, at least in our thoughts. Thank you. My friend just gave me a button last January, like a political button that said Rocky Wilson, because Rockefeller once ran for office and his running mate was Wilson. So now I have that button. Now I just have to find an office to run for. This is called Sledding with the Quakers. Down the hills we fly, right over the bodies. One is my high school geometry teacher's wife, Winnie, gone 7 years. Mr. Beer's name is there too, but with no death date. He's still kicking. I remember him kicking Bobby LeMaina out of class because he didn't have a collared shirt on under his sweater. Haddonfield was like that. Winnie stood up for me, though. When Mr. Beer asked why I don't become a real teacher, substituting is important, his wife said, and much needed. For once, Mr. Beer had no formula of words to respond. We could use you now, Mr. Beer. Just what is the angle we should take for the fastest ride, for the longest ride? Some of the Quaker graves go back to the 1700s. Who among them sledded down these hills, and on what kind of sleds? I am using a wax box from the trash behind the Chinese restaurant. Where's your sled? A boy in a brown parka asked. Oh, adults don't own sleds, a tall blonde girl answers for me. Oh yeah, that's right. A man near me overhears all this, lets me borrow his son's red plastic flyer, and I'm suddenly jetting down the hill, yelling for Mama, who is buried somewhere else in the flatlands. Partway up the far hill, under some huge sycamores, my Red Rider comes to a stop, and I roll off laughing, breathing in the ice blue sky and breathing out the joy of life without a collar. Well, sometimes cool thoughts are not enough. Sometimes you've got to go to the shore, down the shore, not the beach, mind you, the shore. Through this poem, hopefully we'll all be down. It's called Twist Again. It's like when you dry your back off. The pretty girl at the Ocean City Teen Hop smiled. So I towed myself into a twist, she praised, and no one else seemed to stare at. A half century later, I saw Chubby Checker rock out under the Big Dipper along Cooper River. His suit jacket soaked with sweat. Checker was pulling woman after woman onto the stage. The least I could do was get out of my lawn chair and dry myself off with that long-forgotten towel as I filled the dipper back up with laughter. Was my original twist teacher still boogieing somewhere? I never saw her at the dance again, but she did say yes, 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 to walk you home. Her dress was pale green, and she smiled a lot. The light was out on her porch, which made our kissing a lot easier. Then I felt her tongue. The first ever tongue in my mouth besides my own. The soft surprise of throbbing warmth began to teach my tongue a new language, one that had little to do with words, one that had little to do with the thousands of words that went before it. I thought you organized this. I did. Okay. I got 3 haiku here. We have people from the Haiku Association. There'll be a birthday party for Nick Virgilio, the haiku poet, the last Sunday in June 28th. June 28th at the Harley Cemetery. You can also visit Walt Whitman, who's just around the corner. Okay.
His 98th birthday on that day.
It's Nick's birthday that day, actually. He's a great poet, great haikuist. New Year's Eve. The banana. What banana? Girl, where's the banana? Look, you're ruining the whole thing. I'm sorry, guys. Let's start this again. New Year's Eve. The banana and avocado become a couple. New Year's Eve, the banana and avocado become a couple. Next. In the middle of making love, I count syllables. In the middle of making love, I count syllables. After the Trade Center dance piece, the Asian couple near me kiss. After the Trade Center dance piece, the Asian couple near me kiss. My friend Janine had a friend that worked at the World Trade Center, and on September 11th, he lived near the shore and he checked the waves, and they were really good that day, so we went surfing. 407. Dear Abraham, don't go. Stay home on the couch with Mary Todd and just watch TV. There must be something good on. Try PBS first. The play at the theater is not that great, and you are tired. It was a long war. How about a detective show? No, maybe not. Nothing with the possibility of guns and shots and, well, you know. Maybe if you stayed home that night, Abe, can I call you that? JFK might not have ridden in the Dallas parade. And later Bobby might have gone to a Dodgers game, ate hot dogs for the first time in years, and drank a few expensive beers instead of going to the festivities at the hotel. And maybe Martin, yes, Martin, might have left the motel just after 1 a.m. the night before because of a bad dream. And history, yes, history might have been so different. Trump might not even be president. There might still be touch or flag football games on the White House lawn. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. might be taking shots at a hoop instead of the world taking shots at him. We might even become civilized again, and kind, and happy. Our teams might even take turns winning and not try to massacre everyone, every game. And space might be safe for all. While on Earth, maybe people could start taking trains again, like my friend Barbara, and not use so much oil. And maybe people could stop really caring who was he, she, him, her, or it. Yes, maybe we'd all just be it's a boy or it's a girl, and that would be our last gender-related opinion. It's snowing, it's raining, it's cold, it's hot, it's a boy, it's sunny, it's a girl, it's a story. It could be so fucking sorry, Abe. I had to get that word in, didn't I? So fucking amazing if we were all here on this planet at the same time, and the only thing getting murdered would be lanternflies. Take good care, Abe. The world misses you. Love, Rocky. Oh, P.S. I almost forgot. I once portrayed you, Abe, in a play called Fronting Slopes that my friend wrote about the Battle of Bull Run. The most touching thing I remember was outside afterwards, when I was still wearing your tall black hat and saw your shadow on the side of the old brick building where we performed. Someone said there were actually a few bullet holes in the wall from Revolutionary War times. I stood and looked at that shadow for a very long time. Into my cereal bowl, the white peony petals fell, giving my breakfast the loveliest of smells. And some of you probably read the New Yorker. They have some great poems. So I picked one out, another food poem. There once was a man whose name was Tony, and all he ate was fried bologna. No fruit, no nuts, no bread, no milk, no vegetables of any ilk. But he looked just great and felt just fine, and lived until he was 99. And he says, don't knock it till you try it. to eat and drink things, then you have to do other things. This is called peeing for Jesus. Do you love me? The song goes on my clock radio, now that I can dance. Watch me now. As I leave my bedroom, I kiss the picture that hung for so many years in Graham's living room on Graysbury Avenue in Audubon. How long did he hang on that cross? For some, he's still there, I guess. It was Martin Luther, wasn't it, who had his revelation that led to Protestantism in the Privy? Anyway, that's what I remember from a philosophy class at Penn State. I can hear my father saying, "This is what you pay money to learn in college." well, for me, it was peeing. Yes, right there in the second floor bathroom of my row house in Camden, New Jersey. Yes, New Jersey. Doesn't everything good happen in New Jersey? There was this tape, "Oh, Happy Day," my friend and dance partner Karen Bookbinder gave me decades ago. And the radio in the bathroom was lousy at radioing, but still played tapes fine. So I hit the play button, and before I knew it, Jesus was walking. "Oh, happy day," and I was walking, and I was peeing, my low flow pee. And just then I decided, yes, it only took over 70 years or so of Jesus knocking softly for me to answer, but yes, I finally invited him into my heart. "And what took you so long?" he asked, laughing, like no one had a right to in front of a peeing man. I wish I could say the pee began to shoot out of me with a renewed vigor, but no such luck. All right, The Sweetness of Bees for Sonia Sanchez. The sweetness of bees sits on the round table by my journal and a cup of green tea. 36 years dissolve along with the honey, and I am sitting in Sonia Sanchez's writing class at Temple, holding a handful of organic raisins, sensual, promising, no chemicals. How our poems should all come out, no chemicals. But the English grad students didn't want to share with a refugee from the dance department, especially one in his early 40s. What the hell does a dancer know about metaphor? Spin, reach, fall, leap, whatever. Our words can do that better, they cry. Kick him out. He'll eat up all our precious feedback time with his cliches. I played high school football, though, and planted my feet. The class made veiled threats to Sonia, but she didn't care. Is that a cliche? These ancient shriveled grapes had in my mouth turned into the Song of Solomon or of this African queen from Germantown, and I wanted to sing something back. I knew the words could be found in the Red Zone or in the dance studio with John Coltrane or along the Jersey coast with Walt Whitman and the Dolphins. Yes, somewhere the words waited patiently for me to discover sign language and the marriage of words to movement, as well as the secret of grapes growing old and sweet so gracefully.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited that Serotonin is putting out this collection. I believe you can pre-order it on their website. And serotoninpress.com. So I'm going to read some poems from that. I hope you like them. This is called "In a Recurring Dream, My Mother's House Fills with Water." The water fills with tropical fish. In another, I'm a lamb being chased by a tiger and wake just before the moment I would have been overtaken. When a nightmare is recurring, there isn't any relief in waking before the end. But childhood should not be a rehearsal, but sometimes it is. Of all the things I've learned, the one I still believe is this: You can certainly step in the same river more than once. If left to your own devices, you can step in that river at least 1,000 times. I was born in the Mall of America. No, I was born in a lake. No, I was born in a boxcar, sculpted out of butter and placed behind glass. I lost my first tooth in one of the Twin Cities, but I can't remember which. I broke my first heart in the snow at the zoo at a family reunion on an exercise bike on my grandparents' porch. I skinned my knee. I took off my shirt in front of my cousins because I thought I was one of the boys. My grandmother said, "Amy, why did you cut your father out of your life?" I sculpted my heart out of butter and threw it in the lake. My father said, "Happy birthday." I cut a hole in the ice. My father said, "I can't believe you're 13, 15, 18, in college, graduating from college." I buried myself in blankets. I put on too much sunscreen. I went to the nearest lake and sat down and tried to cry but couldn't. I went to the Minneapolis Convention Center and tried to call myself a writer but couldn't. I went to the Mall of America and Camp Snoopy had been rebranded. There's an indoor roller coaster inside me, and I am afraid of that one too. I was born in the largest mall in the country, put on a plane at too early an age, and taken to New Jersey, where every mall felt like a hospital. I can't believe I'm 30. My grandmother sends me an email. It says they have sold the house. My father sends me an email. It says, "I'm sorry." I go to the nearest lake and cry and cry and cry. This is called At the Stage Door, a Man Asks If I'm an Actress. And I tell him I'm not. You can't be anything other than what you are, but you can waste your time trying if you want. I don't need anyone to tell me who I am anymore, and it's why I left. At work, the entrepreneur who's bought the restaurant gives a speech on the irrelevance of being right, and I pretend that it's profound. Later, I wait on a man who tells me his father invented the scrunchie. I pretend to believe him, though the scrunchie's real inventor, a nightclub singer named Rami, passed away just days before. He buys 6 bottles of wine, tips $500 in cash, asks if I'd like to go to Martha's Vineyard. And maybe if I believed that being right was irrelevant, I wouldn't need his money, but it wouldn't make it true. All the things that keep you from believing in yourself are throwing a party and you're not invited, of course. That's the title. And if you did attend, you'd be miserable anyway. So throw yourself into your work, the river, the arms of so-and-so. Throw a funeral for everything you wanted your 20s to be. Now your 30s. There's always tomorrow for dreams to come true, until there isn't. Now that I want to be happy, in a way that I didn't before. I build up walls around myself, draw boundaries like it's my job. You have to love yourself in order to want to preserve your joy. I don't think I am manic. I think I really mean it this time. This is called Full Circle. In high school, you wrote a short story about an appliance repair technician. You tell me the summer you find yourself fixing too many broken machines. At 15, I imagine my estranged father's death. As I wrote it, my grown child gives me the news and I tell him to grab a beer from the fridge. My grandmother showed the story to my father, who was predictably upset. If you're not careful, writing about yourself can make you think you're psychic, because everything you imagine seems to come true. But if knowing yourself can be classified as a supernatural ability, it must be the most boring, undesirable one you could possibly say you would choose. You are not becoming an appliance repairman, and I am not becoming, let us pray, an alcoholic. But when I think that we have been on our separate little trajectories that finally collided for what feels like forever, I realize the only genuine surprise was the collision and the intertwining of the two. I have been having a hard time continuing this project of writing about my life as it starts to move toward merging with another, because I can't predict what it will be now that it no longer depends solely on my decisions. Once I wrote that to love someone so much that you need to be where they are is terrifying and good, and I still believe it, but I am less terrified every day than the day before. And letting go of certainty is difficult, but so is every other thing that's worth doing. and you cannot get anything worth having without first giving something up. And love, what we are building, is absolutely, eminently, extremely worth having. Speaking of mental health issues, this is the title poem, If I Cannot Fly. It has taken me so long to understand that I deserve to be touched softly, and longer to learn to lay beneath your hands without shaking like a leaf. Most days I play music constantly for fear of being alone with my thoughts that are so often intrusive and always seem to be out to get me. When I was hospitalized, I smuggled in an iPod, and I credit it with my survival. Because I was raised without a God, I always thought I couldn't pray, but now I think maybe I've just never been good at asking for what I need. When I was little, I was told that if you tell anyone what you wished for, it will never come true. I learned to hold my breath while passing graveyards and sidestep the cracks in every sidewalk. Before my grandparents passed, we sat for hours listening to their records, and my grandma sang her way through every household task. On a good day, I think I'm a morning lark, keeping myself company the best way I know how. The next, I am a head case drowning out my demons in a psych ward. What a strange thing to believe in a devil without also believing in a God. God, teach me to forgive you for giving me this mind that I love and hate by turn in equal parts. Give me this day my daily bread and forgive me my trespasses, etc. I am so fucking exhausted. Please send help. Amen. One more. This is called A State of Love and Trust. Before I understood that this would all end, I wished it would. Feel too much pain too early in life and you may choose to crawl inside it. A friend's baby is late to arrive. Summertime sluggishness, I say, relatable. Mid-July already, and I too am trying not to want to be carried through the world. Floating in a lake, letting the sun kiss my bare stomach, I stay in the water until my skin is burnt. Typical, but it feels too good not to put off getting out. On the back of the jet ski, my hands clam up the same way as on the motorcycle, but I keep climbing on to the next, fears and all. A state of love and trust. In this economy? But here we are. My body wants a baby. In this economy? Strange to want to be carried and to want to carry someone else. Happiest when floating because it is so rare. God make me more buoyant. My skin cells have all changed since I met you. Our hair is a little thinner, and sometimes we'll realize we've unknowingly color-coordinated our outfits. It's a level of intimacy I have in equal parts craved and feared for a very long time. A mass of contradictions. I drag my sunburnt body from the water, and even as I apply aloe later on in the evening, I have no regrets. There is no protective gear for heartbreak. Emotionally, I'm a squid without a helmet, and this could all go up in flames. I understand now that everything ends, but I don't care. Floating down a river or flying down the highway, singing or gasping, clammy hands and all. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks so much for being here. It's a thrill to be in Philly. I love this city. Yeah, I'm coming to you from New York City, so thanks for being such a great audience. And to Amy and Rocky for being such great readers. Sean, thanks to you and Serotonin for having me. Yeah, I'd love to give you a copy of my book. We can do a sliding scale, or if you've bought a few new drinks for yourself tonight, don't worry about it. When it's a first book, I think you're just eager for people to have the poems. So it's a pleasure to share some with you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocky mentioned Walt Whitman, and this poem has a title that echoes closely Whitman's. It's called Crossing on Staten Island Ferry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know that one?
Yeah.
The night is warm, but the river seems glacial. You keep blood orange beers in your bag for me. I face the dazzling Statue of Liberty almost at her feet, and I feel like I am seeing her as I never have, but the lit spikes of her crown are exactly what have taken my mind to a better place before. We recount our family's escape to America again, searching for some story that will bring us closer, drifting into the clouds just away from the rail where you stand. Your scarf brings out the very greenness of your green eyes. It ruffles in the wind, hinting at what you might be feeling now that we are together again on this ferry in autumn. This time I tell myself I will move closer to you as you offer me another beer out of your bag, as we shuffle to the other side of the boat. I wish I were not a man. Glacial secret. I have only one, as if the secret were not frozen and solid and massive, but a hole, a channel of empty, traveling to the floor beneath the water that circles this island city. Does anyone ever think about how low this floor would take us if we dove to it? Go low enough to travel, taking the subway under streets, rivered under gravel and water, descending only as far as finding our way requires. I am in it for the song. We take the trip back and depart to the dock, where men cast fishing lines and wait, and I feel you are waiting, as if the advance of night made us more intimate, as I deny what is obvious. A line is taut. The fisherman reels in a baby shark. This cannot be. There are no sharks in the Hudson. Disgusted, you ask if he will cast it back, wondering, then saying, "Cast it the fuck back." The fisherman takes off his Yankees hat, turns to us and says that he will eat the shark. He holds it up, unhooks it, and slaps it across the mouth. He throws it onto the pavement, where it lies, dying, as we walk quickly off the dock, saying goodbye to one another, then parting before going back underground. Thanks. This next poem is a kind of love affair in letters. Some were really emails, but they felt like letters, and others were in handwriting. It's actually a great way to have a love affair. So the title of the book is Strap, and the title of this poet, apropos to that, is Harness. Harness. You strapped into written words, not what you whispered in dream, where I licked around your clit, then the dream itself. Like cream, questions you and your man churned over, questions I heard through letters from your dry city. Would we be happier to ourselves if the other weren't there? I think of the sex we're not having against your bookshelves. Won't you always be away? If only I were inside, that you would melt me like that blur of line let up in sky, butter of starry paint. I cannot stand to wait, must for your letter, must not have much beyond this heat to be so thirsty and fatalistic, as if the meat of that bear I see in sleep were eaten with my hands, as if we drank its bucket of juice. Strap me to you, pull yourself inside my hurt and force and force. I am embarrassed to be so tight. I write to you when there is no salt lick, no jet skis brushing eddies across the river. Keep that which you wear around your waist against the moon of your not mention, my fear of being with. Jerusalem. This is a very different city from Philly, and a city that's been in all kinds of strife for so many thousands of years, really. Jerusalem. I inhale your pits. The poor are no longer poor, and hearts of kayak al-quds moisten in sheer heat. I press this cactused skin of Sabra, its needled tip, gift only for you. Would you feel better if I cut it off? Should I cut to please you? I give myself to your silence like a rainbow. mist across your streets, gushing, admonished. The nightmare of my abandon is a holy law. I dream of bondage. I'm without you and without you, and I'm without you and without you. Starve me and slice into my ribs. I want you to hurt me so that I can move on. Twister. Sleet hit sideways against the windshield along the mountain highway. I wait for a text from you. The railroad lies empty as the tracks almost always are before the freight finally barrels through. I feel a cleft between the fields and I open. If ever there were one for me, you, seared in my head and branding me with obsidian. The sky is pink above the mountain ridge, fizzling apart and clotting, menstrual, like gradations in the rock below. Chase the cone and watch it tear through another river plain. Wait and watch wind die against the poppy stalks. Any darker and I would destroy myself, but you think I'm soft as the willow draped over the cellar door. Charisma of the electrical charge seizing power away from the house. Barn pounding against the lock. Over and away, wind cuts through the valley and gains with the little space it finds, like a song feeding on its own momentum the more I chant it, my hand tapping the dasher, as I am as boring as my dreams. Twister of the mountains. The wind blows hardest within my waist. When the lightning begins, I can rest, knowing the storm I crave found me at last. Chimes chime, a hound knocks, my heart knocks. Let the cylinder encircle itself with its silver lip, widening and funneling, its hips angled out and open, furrowed grave of homes in its way. I am the twister, twisting around myself again. This poem is set in the Negev desert, like others in the book, and it refers to a geological shape. We might refer to it as like a plateau with a canyon, but we don't have a word for it in English. In Hebrew, it's Maktesh Ramon. From the mirage of you, I wake as a broombrush tree, bending toward you in the Negev. Finding for an edge, I want it between your limestone and rough clay, your boundaries built down to bone. Red fox, oryx, and sandcat, I dream of you coming to me and wish I could stay asleep in my delusion. Tonight, I rise above a crater, my fear of heights like yours of attachment. In dream, maps dissolve, but the Negev is real. I float toward an oasis and hear its opulent fervor, harvested from sorrow. My sorrow is the sound of desert mice screeching like a ballistic missile launched from the roof of a home. I can't tell if goodness here is possible, for the start of my pleasure is the pain of another. Here, the expanse of your clay goes beyond my touch. I plumb the crater. I give up what kept me to you, suspense of my release. My skin cools against yellow dunes. Read just a few more. I think this poem really gets into the mind of some Jewish people in the past 3 years in reliving over and over again a kind of nightmare that we never thought we'd have to live. And nevertheless, we live it out each day. And I think many people and Americans feel that way now each day, as if we're reawakening in a nightmare. The title refers to a set of mystical Hebrew texts called Zohar. Zohar, I wish I were one of them stepping into the shower. But here I am, naked and ready to die. Gas flows pouring from the head, wrapping my chest and legs. Be the light that bounces back through ash, says the Zohar. But I'm strung out with shame. I could climb Mount Moriah and throw myself onto an altar, the stain of feeling crushed within joy. I imagine I'm standing within a mausoleum, pushed into a stone chamber, into dark milk of relief. Let the air envelop me quickly, as gas is air. Do we each remake our walls of grief? Is a trap of victimhood that it creates an abuser? How do I atone without children? For every poet there should be two more, a rock engulfed in its earthward plunge. For every dead, another must be reborn, glowing in the wake. I am hurtling, breaking apart. June is for a lot of people very celebratory around where I live, but I think in Philly too for Pride. You know, everybody getting together and trying to have a good time. For me, it's also a time when it's hard to kind of get myself out, hard to find that party invite, hard to live through my internalized shame. His poem's called Faggots. He threw hard, spinning the red stitches off his knuckles and sending the ball over my head to grab from inside the thicket lining the front of his home. Play the girl. Pretend you have a secret and unzip my jeans. I hated the clean smell of his skin and the pricker bushes. Now, from a window overlooking his gravel driveway, I see him slapping a ball against his garage, shirtless, cracking his knuckles. The first hands of women stung like his hands stung. I slapped them away from the belt of my jeans.